Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. 7 units are set to deploy here coming up very shortly. And the Army has just announced this, and they are looking for spring deployments here for these 7 units. Wanted to jump into it, share it with you so you're aware for whatever reasons you might be interested. Could be an old unit of yours, or you could have a loved one that's currently serving and so forth. It's just a good way to keep a pulse on what's happening out there in the world. So, with that, the headline is Army announces spring deployments for 7 units. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. It really does help the channel. Hitting that thumbs up helps out a lot. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can do so by becoming a member. You can become a member by going to the home page. You will see the highlighted members there, and you will also see a join button somewhere. All right, let's jump into it. The Army has announced spring deployments for 7 units to Europe and U.S. Central Command. Let's see here. The announcement released today shows the following rotations. So there's a few bullet points here. The 10th Mountain Division Combat Aviation Brigade will replace the 82nd Airborne Division Combat Aviation Brigade in CENTCOM. The 1st Cavalry Division Headquarters will replace the 3rd Infantry Division Headquarters in Europe as part of a regular rotation of forces to support the U.S. commitment to NATO. The 1st Cavalry Division Artillery will replace 3rd Infantry Division Artillery in Europe, also part of the NATO support mission. The 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division will replace the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division in Europe for the NATO support mission. The 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, that's a lot of words, will replace the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division in Europe for the NATO support mission. 2 more bullets here. The 1st Cavalry Division Combat Aviation Brigade will replace the 1st Infantry Division Combat Aviation Brigade in Europe under the NATO support mission. The 1st Cavalry Division Sustainment Brigade will replace the 3rd Infantry Division Sustainment Brigade in Europe as part of the NATO support mission. And the source here is the U.S. Army. The deployments will occur between April and June, according to the release. In December of 2022, the 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, ended a 6-month rotation in Poland. The 1st Cavalry Division Combat Aviation Brigade ended a 9-month tour in Poland in September 22, which was 16 months ago. During the rotation, the unit flew more than 12,500 hours in 11 different countries, executing 17 urgent real-world medical evacuation missions and provided aviation support during Tier 1 and Tier 2 NATO exercises, according to the Sentinel. Fort Cavazos Sentinel. Okay. All right, and then that concludes it. So that is the 7 units that will be deploying here in the spring. So welcome home to everybody coming home, and bon voyage to those leaving. And with that, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I will throw this piece in, though, if you happen to hang on. If you're in one of those units that are coming back and you are getting ready to end your time in service, whether it's retirement or you're just not looking to re-up any contracts, really think about your BDD option, which is your Benefits Delivery at Discharge option. Benefit Delivery at Discharge is a filing of VA disability compensation, a claim for your VA disability compensation that you can file with the VA while you're still actively in the Army in this situation. And you can file that claim between the 6-month and 3-month window prior to your discharge or retirement. Now, this is really important to do because then the VA can work on your claim while you're still in service. Then when you get out, the idea is hopefully within a few months of you getting out, you will start to receive your VA disability compensation. And for those that are married, it's always, or if you have dependents, it's always a bit stressful because you're going to be getting out of the military where you have your housing allowance and poof, that goes away. And you're trying to find a job that will cover all of that as you transition out. So having a little additional money coming in from the VA is a way to kind of help offset that loss of income. Now, I will also throw out that if you are looking to get out of the military from any of those service or any of those different units, while you're in is the golden opportunity. This is now the time to be completely honest with anything that's going on with you. My neck, my back, my knee, my blood pressure, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're having those conversations with a medical provider. And if you have an exit physical health assessment, make sure you are honest on that form and you check all of the boxes that pertain to your specific health and answer those questions. It'll say, whatever. Have you now or have you ever experienced any of the following? And it might say, painful swollen joints, tuberculosis, heartburn, migraines, anything like that. The list is like, 60, different items, right? So say yes to the things that are applicable. And then it's going to say, if you said yes to any of these, please, make a notation below and you'll have your blank spot that you can do so. Take the time to complete that. Anything that you get diagnosed for while you are in, if it is chronic in nature or has some sort of residual effects, you should be able to get that service connected. The three things, and I'm talking to those of you that are currently serving. If you're in, the very easiest thing to do, or the most easiest thing for you to do, is to get your conditions documented by a healthcare provider and get that diagnosis. If they want to prescribe you something, say yes, sure, and go get your prescription filled. Here's the three components for a successful claim with the VA for service-connected disability compensation. Number one, you have to have your time in service. Well, obviously you're in. Number two, you need to have a diagnosed condition that is chronic in nature or has some sort of residual effects. Number three is you must have a nexus, a link between your condition and your time in service. Now, simply getting diagnosed is going to go ahead and do that for you. It will make it to where you have that nexus, because the nexus is essentially show me, the VA, that your condition manifested during your time in service or is a result of your time in service. So simply getting diagnosed for migraines while you're in service helps to check that nexus block. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.